Hello everyone! In this video we're going to go over Chapter 4, the checkpoint green exercise in the book on page 201 to 202. For each paragraph we're going to read it and then decide what the topic is and then pick out the stated main idea. Number 1, this paragraph comes from a human sexuality textbook. The possibilities for promotion sometimes are greater for men than for women. Parenting and household responsibilities still often fall to women. This can limit the time and energy available for their careers. Many institutions and employers are trying to create equal employment opportunities for women. There are still differences in how well women and men fare in their jobs, but there are signs things may be improving. Among married couples who both work, over 30% of the wives earn more money than their husbands. Also, in increasing numbers of families, the woman is the primary breadwinner, while the man stays home to take care of the household responsibilities and children. Alright, so overall, what are we talking about for our topic? That's going to be a word, name, or phrase. There's not a heading, there's nothing in special print, so we have to see kind of what gets repeated or gets replaced by a pronoun or other words. And in this case, it is going to be how well women and men fare in their jobs. Okay? And in this case, the stated main idea, I'll put it in a different color, is that sentence right there in the middle. Okay? So there are still differences in how well women and men fare in their jobs, but there are signs things may be improving, and that's what this paragraph is about. So, especially when you have a stated main idea in the middle of a paragraph, you have to ask yourself, what is the overall point here? Alright, let's look at number 2. It comes from a criminal investigation textbook. When people place their outstretched arms in front of their bodies with palms up, this is known as the rogatory or prayerful display. Those who worship turn their palms up to God to ask His mercy. This behavior is also seen in individuals who say something that they want the investigator to believe. Since rogatory behavior can indicate deception, a criminal investigator should watch for it. When a person makes a declarative statement, note whether the hands are palms up or palms down. People are telling the truth, do not have to plead to be believed. They make a statement and it stands. During regular conversation in which ideas are being discussed and neither party is deeply committed to a particular point, the investigator can expect to see both palms up and palms down display. So here we don't, for our topic, we don't have a heading, but we do have some italics here with rogatory. And so this is a term that is being discussed in this paragraph. Now, if we just say rogatory, that's not quite our full topic. We want to talk about rogatory behavior and how it can indicate possibly deception. And this actually is our stated main idea sentence here again. So, since rogatory behavior can indicate deception, this paragraph is about how a criminal investigator should watch for it. Okay? So again, it's asking yourself what the whole paragraph is about. So in these first 2 paragraphs, our stated main ideas were in the middle of the paragraph. Number 3, it's a short paragraph here. It comes from a psychology textbook. We work to build social and romantic relationships because we need acceptance and love from others. We strive to reach for goals because we need to experience self-esteem and a sense of competence. The point is, our needs motivate much of our conscious behavior. So here we have no heading, no special print, nothing like that. And we have 3 sentences. And so here in this last sentence, if you noticed, this is one of our signal phrases for a stated main idea. So the point is, our needs motivate much of our conscious behavior. So here, we're talking about our needs and how they motivate our conscious behavior. Okay? Paragraph number 4 comes from a political science textbook. Public broadcasting got off to a slow start in the United States. Unlike in Europe, where public broadcasting networks such as Britain's BBC were created at the start of the radio age, the U.S. government in the 1930s handed control of broadcasting to commercial networks such as NBC and CBS. By the time Congress decided in the 1960s that public broadcasting was needed, the commercial networks were so powerful that they convinced Congress to assign it second-class status. Public broadcasting was poorly funded. It was denied access to the most powerful broadcast frequencies. In fact, most television sets in the 1960s had tuners that could not dial in the stations on which public broadcast programs were aired. So public broadcasting, that's PBS. That's where we watch Sesame Street. All right, so for our topic here, what are we talking about? We're obviously talking about public broadcasting. Remember, it gets repeated over and over again here, and we don't have any special print or headings, okay? But where public broadcasting? We're talking specifically public broadcasting in the United States. And so in this paragraph, our stated main idea is this first sentence, okay? Public broadcasting got off to a slow start in the United States, and the rest of this paragraph explains why it got off to a slow start. Finally, paragraph number 5. This is from, This is from a sociology textbook. So, in some cultures, such as that of Papua New Guinea, roast pork is a delicacy reserved for feasts. In other cultures, it is a forbidden food. In U.S. culture, genetically modified food is accepted without much question, but in Europe it is banned. Because Swedish people put a great value on natural organic foods, 99% of mothers in Sweden breastfeed their infants, a rate much higher than that in the United States. The foods people eat, along with the customs they observe in preparing and consuming their meals, say a great deal about their culture. So hopefully you can kind of see where each of these beginning sentences, they're very specific. So in this first one, we're talking about Papua New Guinea. In the next one, we're talking about U.S. culture, and then Europe, and then in the next one, we're talking about Sweden. Okay, so very different information. So really those paragraphs or those sentences would not be our stated main idea. But the stated main idea is this last sentence. And here, what are we talking about? We are talking about the foods people eat, along with their customs, and what they say about their culture. Okay, so this last sentence then is our stated main idea. All right, so here it's at the end of the paragraph. All right, so next you'll need to go and complete, let's see, I believe you need to complete the review guide. Review cards for chapter 4, and then the review guide as well. If you guys have questions over any of this, please let me know. I hope you guys are staying safe, and I'll talk to you later.